podcast. So I don't know. I'm so going back to what Danielle was. I had a hard time with this assignment as well too. I did my best, but show you is the assignment suggested that we created a table of some sort. So I made an attempt of some sort to create a table. Now you don't know whatever you want to show. It's up to you. You don't have to show anything, or the screen. If you go to the left of you can see there's a green box with an arrow on it. It says screen share. And so if you want to share what you have on your laptop, you can do that by clicking on screen share. And and when you click on screen share, you have an option of viewing the entire screen, which is what you can see right now. It looks kind of skillywampus right now, but you can share your screen if you want to. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that right now, and I'm going to show you. Let's see. I'm going to pop up. I'm going to see. I created a table of some sort. Let's see if I can find it here. Just a sec. No, I have it here. There we go. All right, here we go. So here is my feeble attempt, or maybe it's a feeble attempt. I don't know, but here's my attempt to. Let's see if I can find this here of a table. Can you guys see the table?
Okay.
Okay, so what I did was that the three different software that I compared was Mendeley, EndNote, and Zotero. And so I looked at the article that was the required reading. I looked at that. Plus, what I did was that I went to YouTube and found for each of those software. I found a YouTube video a tutorial that I can, and then I kind of played around with all three of them just to see what I liked about them when I didn't, whatever else. And so in the end, when I put everything together, I looked at, there were 6 different things that I looked at: the cost, creating citations while writing, and then the file management system with PDFs. I like if there's an article that when we go through the library and we can find. I prefer when I go through and search on the library, if it's peer reviewed, number 1, and 2, if it has a PDF file attached to it. It's nice to have a good management system with any one of these 3. There's also something called a web importer that I looked into that I thought was pretty good. And then the last 2 things is, can you share files with others, and then can you do collaborative work? And so there was a couple of things those are the 6 things that I looked at. When I went through it, I saw that, just to summarize, that Mendeley and Zotero. If you have any questions, just stop me if something comes up. But when I looked at the base cost, Mendeley and Zotero were free, and EndNote was $115. At least that's what I saw. With creating citations while writing, obviously all 3 of them do fine. The one that stood out in my mind was EndNote, because you could, if there's more complex citations that seem to work better with that, though you can do complex citations with these other 2, but EndNote seemed to be more smooth when working on that. When it comes to the file management system, all of them did just fine with PDFs. What I discovered is Mendeley seemed to do a little bit better with PDF files for a couple. Well, one reason primarily is that when you store a PDF file in Mendeley, you can actually go into Mendeley and click on that PDF, and you can actually edit and annotate and whatever else, or highlight, which I thought was really nice. I don't believe you can do that with EndNote, and then you can't do it with Zotero. A cool thing that I discovered was a web importer, and let's see if I go to I have an example of it here. On the top left, on the top right of on Chrome, there's these 2 different icons, and one of them is this one right here is the Zotero icon, and the other one is a Mendeley icon. And say, for instance, if I go to, let me just find something here. I'll just let's see, what am I looking for? Let's see. I got a lot of things open. Must be in a doctorate program here. Let's see. Here we go. So if I search, so if I go to library here and I access library, and let's see, I'm going to look up this. I'll just look anything up, but it doesn't matter. Citation software, and search. When you get at, you see there's all these different references here. What you can do with either one of these two, if you click on this, you can actually save. It goes into, it opens up a folder, or excuse me, a small little window, and you can choose which one of these you want to add to your library. Now with Zotero, it doesn't download the PDF, but with Zotero, well, Zotero it doesn't, but with Mendeley you can. The only thing that I notice about Mendeley is when I try it with Mendeley, and I played around with this here, that, let's see if that it pops up here, but what I noticed here, when I go down the list, it doesn't include all the different ones. It kind of skips a few of them. But the nice part about Mendeley is that you can download the PDF if it has a PDF. So I've noticed that these are nice tools to use with either Zotero and Mendeley. I discovered that Zotero is a little bit, when it comes to the citations, does a little bit better than Mendeley, but Mendeley can download PDF. Anyway, just a couple more things, then I'll quiet here. But all of them share. You can share files with others. You can collaborate, and I probably need to adjust this a little bit. You can collaborate with all of these, but for Mendeley, it actually costs $45. What I mean by collaborating is, if you want to do an assignment together, you can go into EndNote and Zotero. You can go to Mendeley, but it costs $45. And what I recommend in the end is I like Mendeley the most, primarily because of the PDF, that it does well with file management with PDF files. And plus, it's free, and free is a good price. And on top of that, what did I discover? What I also discovered is I like the web importer with Zotero better than Mendeley. But what you can actually do is you can actually link Mendeley to Zotero so that you can get the best of both worlds. You can get the web importing capacity with Zotero, and then when you do that, then you can link it to, if I'm going to do stuff with Mendeley and cite articles or whatever else, I can go back to Mendeley. So this is what I did. That was what I've seen up to this point. So let me get back to, let's see, I don't want to, trying to find Google Hangouts here. Here we go. So I'm done sharing a screen. Does anybody else want to add to the discussion?
You're trying to put it in mind.
Or if anybody has questions for me or whatever else, doesn't matter. It's kind of open forum, I suppose.
Question, I had some issues citing the different sources, like finding the authors, and I contacted Zotero. They basically said cite it like a website and that they don't have a specific author. Have you guys come across that same thing with citing the software?
I have not. Is that what you primarily use, Robin?
Which one?
Zotero. You were talking about Zotero.
Yeah, right? I looked up the Zotero and, sorry, multitasking. Zotero, BibMe, EndNote, and EasyBib. And they all have problems, so it was hard to come up with my favorite. I keep going back and forth.
Right.
I like a lot of the stuff with Zotero. I still haven't thoroughly cited any of them. So did you find an author for Zotero?
Oh, find an author. Is that what your question is?
Yeah.
Oh, to cite the software.
Cite the software. That was in her example that she had an author.
Oh, I see. Now, I found it interesting when I looked at that, because when I went to the blog that she was referencing,
yeah,
I saw that there was two possibilities. There was if there was an actual author or a person, and then there was also just the product itself. That was the first part. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know. So with Mendeley and EndNote, I didn't really find a particular author.
So how did you cite them?
So let's see. How do you cite them? That's a good question. If I were to cite them, Oh, you had to ask. Hold on a second here. Let me see if I can find. I saved a page here. Let me see if I can find it here. How do you cite software? Okay, I found it here. Let me go. Let me share you my screen.
Can you guys hear me? It's Laura.
Let's see.
Hi, Laura.
Hi. I cited Zotero.
Uh-huh.
So what I did is I just put like Zotero, and then I put in brackets computer software, and then from Zotero.org download, because there's no author for it.
Do you need to write no author?
Do you what, sorry?
Are you going to write no author? Or you just write Zotero computer software and then.
I'm just going to do Zotero 2016 computer software.
Okay. I found that much information, but I wasn't sure about the rest.
There isn't an author for it.
Okay.
And I Googled all over the place looking for APA citations for Zotero, and I asked our librarians at my university library, and they said it doesn't exist. So
okay, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So if I can show you, Robin, here real quick. When I go to the blog, this page here, I see a couple of examples here. If you look at this right here, and I think that's what I was going to do with all three of those is just say Zotero, because I didn't find any authors for all three of them.
Okay.
I'm just going to say Zotero computer software, and you mentioned something else. Let me go back to this here. You mentioned, Laura, something else to include besides, because I was just going to do this. Was there something else you would add?
Nope, that's it. That was it.
Okay. So here's another question in terms of citing a software. Let's see if I can find this here. If I go to the, well, I have a lot of tabs open here. If you go to the, let's see, what was I going to do? Give me a second here. I think it was part of the announcements. Let's see if I can find it here. Just a sec. It asks for, I'm trying to determine a date. Is it the date when it was originally created or the date of the version? And that's where I wasn't completely sure.
I thought it said the date of the version.
Yeah, I'm putting 2016 on it because they've done an update this year.
Okay. So, all righty. So that's what you should do. Is not the, because when I went to the, so here's the announcement. Let's see if I can find it here. I wasn't sure. So how to reference software. This is from Dr. Sandra, where it says, okay, when referencing download from a website, please try to provide one, the software version, okay, which edition, and the year the software became available. So does that mean, so what you're suggesting, it's the edition that should be is the date. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will go with that, because if you notice on my table here, I have the dates of what I found. Let's see, where is it? When I found the dates of when they actually originated. But what you're, I mean, I think all three of those, they had a new version this year. So
yeah, I think it should probably be. This is according to our university librarian. So she said if they're updated this year, you put the latest update because that's what people will want to know if they're looking up your software.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'll change those dates there. Thank you. That's awesome. That's great insight. Thank you very much. Okay, cool. Let me put this back here.
Did any of you buy the reference manual, the APA reference manual?
Yeah, I bought that last week. It's like my Bible.
Yeah, because on page 211, they give you an example of how to cite software.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting in their example is there is no year, but it does tell you, gives you the example of how to cite the software.
I see that. I didn't look there. Thank you.
On page 211, is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Nathan, okay. Okay. Interesting. So it doesn't say a date. Is there anything, so compared to the blog that I read, was there anything new or anything that's different?
It shows a location.
Yeah, it's very weird. I mean, it gives a title, it tells you the version, you got to put the computer software in brackets, and then it gives you a location.
Okay. All right. Well, if I were to guess, what I would do is, if Dr. Sandra was linking to a blog, and that's what she's going to refer to, I think that's what it's going to be. That's what I'm going to be
That's
using.
good.
I mean, I appreciate what you were saying, Nathan, about, because that is, as Laura was suggesting, is the Bible, which is really, okay, maybe, well, I'm being recorded here, so I need to be careful with what I say here. But I find it interesting, though, that even though that we have APA, we're supposed to do it a certain way. My guess is with all the teachers we'll have throughout our doctoral program, some will say this is what you should do with a certain situation. Others will say, no, you should do it this way. So I guess my feeling is that once I find out a teacher wants to do it a certain way, I'll just do it that way until I'm told otherwise. So
That's what I'm learning.
that's what you're learning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And some of these can't have a location. Like Zotero's open source, so it can be changed as, so it's not going to have a location. It won't even make sense for that. So I think she showed it.
Now, my understanding was when I looked it up, Zotero was founded, or at least George Mason University. Wasn't it George? I thought it was George Mason University that at least Zotero, if I remember right. But
I don't remember now. I spent all day. I'm bleary-eyed. I looked at all of them all day long. I did Zotero and Mendeley and Wizfolio, which became eWow, which is useless in case anybody's curious.
Okay.
So what favorites did everybody have? I'm curious.
Yeah.
I like Mendeley myself. That's the easiest one for me to use. I came in late, so I missed part of what you said, but Zotero has a nice web importer. But other than that, I like, and with Zotero, you can snap, like do a picture of a website, which sometimes is handy, whereas you can't on Mendeley. But Mendeley works well with PDFs, which is almost all of what I think most of us are using.
Right.
So that's my preference.
Thank you.
Actually, Laura, I mentioned this, maybe I said too much when I was talking, but if you want the best of both worlds, you can actually link Zotero to Mendeley. So if you wanted to, like, say, what Zotero does really well, what I discovered, like, say, if you wanted to, you go to the Washington Post, you find an article that you like, and you want to use the web importer from Zotero, you can actually, you can use that in Zotero, and then if you want to link it to Mendeley, you can.
Okay, that's good. Good tip.
That's if you, I mean, it's.
I use RefWorks, but we lost our whatever, or subscription, whatever the university had. So we had to transfer all of our stuff from RefWorks into either Zotero or Mendeley. So I put all of my stuff into both of them, but so it's probably a similar kind of linking that you can do between Mendeley and Zotero too. I would think. You can kind of over.
That sounds good.
Did anyone look at EndNote?
Say that again, Laura.
Did anyone take a look at EndNote Web? Because that's the other one that gets supported by our school, but I haven't really looked at it. It's a free web. It's through Web of Science.
I haven't looked at that.
It's supposed to be pretty good too, but I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. So
I saw EndNote X8, but that one was expensive. Is that the same one?
Right.
Yes, this is EndNote Web, and it's free. But I also like, I do stuff on my iPhone and on my iPad a lot, right? So I like to have things that have an app for them. And the app for that one costs $10, and I didn't really want to spend $10 if I didn't have to.
Right.
I'll get another app that I probably won't use.
Does anybody else have a favorite what they found was their favorite?
I've only used one, so I can't be a judge yet.
What are you using, Nathan?
Well, I downloaded the Zotero and I just started to, play with it today. I haven't even started on the assignment yet. But I'm kind of here just to listen.
No, you're good. I appreciate you joining. Yeah, go ahead.
For the PDFs, you can annotate. I don't know if you guys have tried, but you can annotate with both Mendeley and Zotero. So you can do that with both of them. You can do a full text search. With Mendeley, they've got a pretty good library that you can actually look through. So everything that anybody else has ever cited, goes into a library, so you can do a search from there. And I actually found more stuff on there than I found through the College of Education's library.
Interesting.
So it's worth trying to take a look for things through there as well.
Yeah, what I've discovered, Laura, as well, is that when you go to the Mendeley website,
Yeah.
you can link. What was I going to say? You can link your standalone Mendeley to the website, and when you get in there, you can actually search to see. Okay, you have this article in your library. You can see what others, when you go into that, you can see what others have, or those that have, or the type of people that have submitted the similar article to their databases, and then also see if there's any similar articles.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when I went through this, I don't know who there was. Let's see. I guess I was looking for, because you were saying, Laura, that the university supports EndNote. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Does it support any other ones?
Well, they canceled RefWorks last year, like about a year ago. So
Okay.
they're supporting 4. They're doing Zotero, EndNote Web, Mendeley, and WizFolio. But
Okay.
WizFolio is phasing out, and they're in a beta version now of eWow. I said, but it's not very good. I think if you're an undergrad and you're just trying to cite a few things, it's okay, but it doesn't keep track of things well enough for our purposes.
Okay, so it does support EndNote, Mendeley, and Zotero is what you're saying.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, all right, interesting. Well, I guess what I was, I saw that, for instance, I saw the video that Dr. Sandra put together if you go to the library.
Yeah.
She has several different videos. One of those is a how to do things with EndNote.
Yep.
And I didn't see. So I figured that the college, I don't know if they prefer EndNote, but at least they have more helps with EndNote than they do with Mendeley or Zotero. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I saw anyways.
Yeah, could be.
And so I was wondering to myself, is it worth the extra help, and is it worth paying the $115 to do to have those extra helps? Plus, I noticed that the citations was a little bit better, or excuse me, when you're doing complicated citations, it was better for EndNote. But I'm just wondering if it's worth paying the $115. My conclusion was it wasn't. I figured it would be better. I mean, free is a good price.
Yeah.
And if you can get away with using Mendeley or Zotero or the combination of the two, and I think you can, that would work just fine.
I think most of the profs at my school use Mendeley. It seems to be the key one from the people in my department anyway. That's what they tend to use.
Okay.
I said, we get all of them for free, so we don't have to pay for any of them. I said, I didn't even want to pay the $10 for the iPad app for EndNote. So, I'm like, I've got enough choice of things that are free there. But
Yeah, exactly.
most of them seem to, the librarians basically said, it really doesn't matter. Whatever is, some computers work better with one versus the other one. Like if I'm on a Mac, Mendeley works really well with the Mac. Zotero works really well if you're using Firefox. So it's not really my browser.
Right.
So if you're using Firefox, they said you might as well just, because you're comfortable with it, you might as well try Zotero. But other than that, they really are competing with each other and pretty much doing the same thing. So it shouldn't make any difference.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Thank you. Thanks, Laura. What another thing that I think I'm going to go with primarily Mendeley myself. I like it. There's two primary reasons for it. One is three primary reasons. One is the PDF. You can do more. I think you can do more things with the PDF than with the others.
Yeah.
The other thing, there's two other things. One is you can create folders. And so far, what I've done, this is my second class. I've created folders for both classes.
Yeah.
But what you can also do is you can create keywords when you create a. What am I trying to say? When you save and you file a reference, you can also create keywords to type in, and so when you're searching, you can actually search for a keyword, and that's handy as well too with Mendeley. So,
Zotero does the same thing. I
Okay.
think they call them. I don't remember what they call them. Instead of folders, they just call them something else. But it's got that capability.
Probably libraries. I know what you're talking about, but yeah,
I can't remember what they call it.
I don't remember either. So, well, that's good.
Zotero just seems glitchier to me, but that's probably because I'm not using Firefox.
And probably part of it for me is that I think I'm used to using Mendeley myself. So, and if the truth be told.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Well, thank you for setting it all up.
Yeah. Was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about with the software?
I'm good.
Okay, so I have one more question for y'all. Do you guys want to try this again next week for next week's assignment? Would you be interested in that?
What's next week's assignment? Isn't that what kind of? I don't know if that would work. Isn't it what kind of a scholar are we, or writer are we, or something like that?
Yeah. Which I'm not completely sure what that means.
I don't know what it is. I think it's pretty vague to say what. I am someone who is careful with my citations. How's that?
Exactly. I'm hoping two things. Well, hoping one that perhaps Dr. Sandra will give us some direction. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that I'll probably be asking some questions.
Yeah.
What does that mean? At least give us at least some direction, so that we'll know where to go from that. What's really, I don't know what you guys. I'll just be brutally honest with you. With the assignments that we've had, whether it's this last class or this class, I look at an assignment and I'm like, this has absolutely nothing to do with the reading that I read. Or at least it doesn't happen all the time. It happens sometimes, right? And so I'm like, I'm trying to rack my brain in terms of how I'm going to do this. And I don't know how you guys do it, but at least for me, so where do I start? So I have a couple of colleagues that are going through the program. I ask questions. I go on the web. I just do a web search just to see, okay, what I can find so that I can just start thinking about it. But I've discovered that quite often the reading that you read doesn't always tie to whether it's the discussion or the paper. Have you guys observed that too?
Yeah,
Yes.
I share that.
I made a comment on that when they asked for comments about our, what did you think of the classes in the first one, at the end of the first class?
Uh-huh.
And they said, I'm like, I think this has been revised so many times that these things are no longer lined up.
Yeah.
It's like, this doesn't really make sense. Good readings and all, but they really don't have anything to do with what the assignments are. So, yeah.
It's really interesting. I know that they prefer that when you write an article that you use peer-reviewed articles, but I mean, I've done a combination of both peer-reviewed, and I think they want you to do at least a couple of peer-reviewed articles. I don't know, but anyways, this is the grand adventure. I mean, I've learned to, for instance, when a question comes up and I have no idea how to approach it, I just had to learn to just, especially before going to bed, just to shut it off, and then go back to it the next day, so that I'll say, okay, I promised myself at this time I will work on this assignment. So anyway, I'm just throwing that out there. Just part of the reason why I wanted to hold this meeting is, I mean, not only just to talk about citations, but also, I mean, being here in Rexburg, Idaho, going through the program, I feel a little bit isolated. So I don't know if you guys have felt similarly, but it's nice. I'm hoping to, at least this is a start, at least for me, is to get to know my fellow classmates and just get to know you and work with you and whatever else, rather than just feeling like I'm in a silo, if that makes sense.
No, I think it's great, and I appreciate that you did that. So thank you for that.
Okay.
I'm definitely into keeping that up. I think that would be really helpful for us.
Okay. So do you want to maybe next week, we can do it next week. It may be a short meeting. Maybe
Sure.
we'll stare at each other and we're like, I don't know. So do you want to try it next week just to kind of develop a habit? Would that be okay?
Sounds good to me. But Tuesdays I have to pick up my daughter at dance. So
That's a great idea, but I'll have to prepare myself more for next week.
That's fine.
Honestly, I can't commit myself each week just because my schedule is crazy right now. But I will take the invitation and take it a week at a time.
Okay, Nathan, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm on board. I have a off-topic question for you guys. Does anybody know when the next class starts? Like what the
Not
date?
until January 9th.
January 9th?
Yeah.
January,
Thank
yes.
you.
Is everybody in the same one? I'm in strategic operations and research methods, I think.
I have not looked.
I don't remember. I think I have ethics. So we made it's interesting. So I think I have ethics and research methods or something like that. I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm not sure how I check what do I do next. Is there a lineup to see what you do next?
If you go to the ACE portal, you should see, I believe, if I remember correctly, you should see what's at least next semester. I don't think they have anything after that, but they do at least have it for next semester.
That's right.
So,
And a random question that I don't know if we'll know the answer to, but with all of our resources supposing to be in the past 5 years, as we start our dissertation, if we have things that are currently 5 years old, in 3 years when we finalize our dissertation, will they be timed out? We need to redo all that research, or how does that work?
that is,
Pretty much, yes. I asked that question. So yes, you could use them for historical value.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, you need to keep updating, which I'm sure we'll have to do anyway, so I don't think it's a big deal. But I would suggest that while you're doing things now, try not to go back beyond, say, 3 years,
Yeah.
and then stuff will still be useful for us.
And then another question with the dissertation. With our overall program over 3 years, with all those classes at that last year, are they kind of placeholder classes while we work on the dissertation, or are they like this class where we're doing legitimate work and then doing the dissertation on our own time on top of that?
It looked like there was a mix. I looked through the course, like the syllabus, the course outlines, and the doctoral, I can't remember if they're the seminars or the other ones. One of them, they're only these little 5-week classes, and those are kind of placeholders. But there's another one that are actually 10 weeks long that there's work like these.
Yeah.
Plus, we're doing 2 of our electives. Like once you choose your stream,
Yeah.
you'll be doing 2 of those in the last year.
Oh, okay.
So I think they're probably going to try to keep it like one of these work courses at a time as you go through, and the other one will be lighter.
Okay. Just curious. Get myself pumped up.
well, you're looking. I'm just you're brave because Robin, I'm just looking week to week. I'm amazed that you can look 3 years ahead.
I'm a planner. I need to make sure I finish in 3 years.
That's awesome. That sounds like my wife. I just well, that's good. That's awesome. So.
That's the right answer. That's good.
we all have different strokes for different folks, so that's all good.
Very true.
So, any type of random questions that anybody has at all?
Did you guys all survive your quiz?
Sorry?
Did you all survive that quiz last week?
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, I did really good, and then I got an email that the only question I got wrong got fixed. I was like, yeah.
What question was that?
It was the one about according to APA, paragraphs are more than one sentence.
Right.
Yeah, and I had picked no because it didn't explicitly state that it was more than one. So
They were abrupt or something like that. So
yeah.
Well, if anything, with with that test last week, I teach statistics at BYU Idaho. I think with this and other things, I think I have felt a lot more empathy with my students than I've had ever. So, and which has been good. But yeah, it's been quite the fun ride this semester, teaching and learning at the same time. But it's been mostly good.
Quite
So,
the learning curve.
you what?
That's quite the learning curve.
It is definitely a learning curve. I've heard. I don't know if this is. I have a fellow colleague of mine in the math department at BYU Idaho he's 2 semesters ahead of me, and he says that when you write, you get better at being more efficient and knowing how long you should take with something and when you can back off and whatever else, and you just become more efficient writer. Because I when I've done papers, I'm like, man, I'm just taking longer than I want to on this assignment.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So,
I'm doing that too. And you think, is it going to make that much difference? Probably not. But
yes,
I want it to be really good, so I keep
I know.
on spending way more time than I should on it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
this is fine. I have one course, but what happens if they bump it up to 2 or 3? It'll kill me.
I'm
Yeah.
doing 2 right now, and honestly, I feel like my workload's about the same as the last course we had with Dr. Eric, but it also could be because I'm learning and kind of streamlining the APA process more, so it's hard to
That's-
tell.
there's probably some truth to that. I think. Well, what was I going to say? It's. And I'm also and just learning how to. What am I trying to say? There's a the church that I go to. One of the church leaders used to be a law professor. He talked about when he was in law school. He said that he first started and he went to the library, and he was like completely overwhelmed about all the different books that he could and should read for all of his assignments and whatever else. And he said what he had to discover was, okay, this is X amount of time you can spend with research. Eventually, you just have to stop and then just go with what you got. And I think that's just, I mean, I felt uncomfortable at times when doing that. But I think, though, I believe what the colleague of mine, I'm going on belief right now, on faith, that eventually that'll sort itself out. Even though the work might be a little harder, but at least you feel more comfortable with it. That's what. So,
Yeah, I'm sure that's true.
well, I hope you're right. So I'm working. Like I said, I'm going on faith on that. So.
Well, I mean, I did law school too, and I remember the first case that I tried to read was maybe 4 pages, and it took me, I think it took me 6 days to read it because I was looking up every Latin term and I had no idea what he was talking about. But by the end of it, you skim right through and you're like, all right, that's the paragraph I need, and there you go, and it's done. So it does happen.
Yeah.
For years, but it happens.
Well, that's good. That's good perspective, Laura. Thank you. So, anything else you guys want to discuss? I don't know if I did.
I like it. I mean, so far so good. I wasn't sure what to expect from it, but I do like it so far. So.
Yeah. I since I was the one that coordinated the meeting, I felt a little bit of pressure putting something together. So if I did too much, I'm sorry. I just I got to put something together. At least.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Very insightful.
So, but and I don't know if I did the table in APA formatting correctly. I will see about that. I don't know, but anyways, I'm sure if I did it wrong, Dr. Sandra will let me know.
Oh, I'm in the data display class, and my tables get edited every week. It's very different than any tables I've ever done before.
Okay.
You'll learn in that class, trust me.
Say that again, Robin.
That you'll learn in the data display class about tables more than you want to know.
Oh, good to know. Well, I get into numbers, so if the table deals with numbers, I can sink my teeth into it. I just don't know in terms of enjoying how to format, I suppose.
Yeah, that's taking a long time. The formatting is taking forever.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's very tedious, especially when you transfer it into discussions and your table looks horrible.
Right.
Yep, it's the learning curve.
It is the learning curve. All right.
Robin, you're doing 2 courses right now?
Yeah, I did the math, and I need 15 units to go to the last part of my pay scale. And if I follow the suggested pace, I'll be at 14 units this summer. So I added a course that is like in the future, res.
That's good.
60-31, so that I would have 15 full units for my pay scale for next calendar year.
Perfect. Very good.
Yeah, I'm motivated by money.
Planning. That's good.
Yeah, I didn't want to be 1 credit shy because that would kind of suck.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Laura, I just saw your email that said I clicked on the link that says they joined by alone in the call.
Yeah,
What
so I was using it on my phone and it wouldn't go in. It just says you're alone in the call, so that I switched over and I put it onto my laptop, which I don't have the camera because I turn off the camera on my laptop, so I don't have the camera on it. But the call joined, but the other one just said, you're alone here. And it was like ringing, and I'm like, I don't know, I can hear things, but it says I'm alone in the call, so that was weird.
Oh, I see.
That's the app, so I have no idea. I will try that again.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, so. All right, anything else?
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
thank you.
So we'll try it again next week. I'll just schedule a time and we can discuss the assignment or whatever else you guys want to talk about.
Sorry, I was late for this one. I always have to pick my daughter up from her dance class, so I don't get back. It's a bit wintry right now, so the weather is kind of sloppy and the roads are awful out there, so it takes a bit longer.
Oh,
Be safe.
so where are you from?
Toronto.
Toronto? Oh, okay. All righty. So, so Laura, I don't feel too sorry for Nathan because Nathan, what's your temperature? You said it was 80 degrees right now.
Listen, half of Toronto is in my neighborhood, so don't. You gotta feel sorry for me a little bit.
I'm just fine. So, all right. Well, unless there's anything else you want to discuss, thank you for joining, and we'll just try this again. Do you want? Is it better to? Well, the 5 of us here. Do you guys have a preference for Tuesday or Wednesday night next week, or any night for that matter?
How about Monday? Like just at the start of our week, so we can figure out what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Anybody
I think 9:30 works too.
9:30 works.
Sure.
Stephanie, what do you think?
Okay, Monday sounds fine.
Monday sounds fine. Robin?
That's fine. My son has basketball, but I can just drop him off and come right back for that one.
Okay, so
Basketball is from 7:15 till 9 at night. That is crazy. That's California time.
so that's California. So you'll be back at 8 o'clock. Is that right?
Well, I'd be here 6:30 till like just after 7 when I have to run my son. But if my
Okay.
husband's here, then I'll make him run.
Okay, so
Don't schedule it around me.
so what time will you be back?
Oh, I have no idea.
I'm just thinking Mountain Time. I'm racking my brain.
No, stick with your 9:30 because I'm not 100% on next week.
Okay, so let's we can. try
I'm
Monday-
juggling 2 classes, so it's a little trickier.
Okay, let's try Monday at 9:30, and we'll see what happens. So I don't know what I'll have prepared for Monday. You guys just want to talk about it without any preparation, or?
That's fine too. That helps too. Just talk to
Okay.
Kate about going, what is that supposed to mean? Helps.
And maybe she'll give us some direction, and so so Monday will just be our time to just discuss it, just to see what the expectations are, and that's all we'll do then.
Sounds good.
So, okay.
Thank you.
Super. So Monday at 9:30 Eastern time. That sounds great. So Laura, Nathan, Robin, Stephanie, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
So we'll see how things go next
Oh,
week.
and thank you for initiating.
You're welcome. I'm hoping to get to know you guys more as we progress in the course. That would be awesome. So,
Sounds good. Good to network.
all right. Take care, guys.
Night.
All right, bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.